In a world at peace, 15 years after the defeat of the Demon Lord, a newly graduated mage named Kotone Kazairo is on a flying plane. The 16-year-old is hoping to move to Dali, the royal capital of the Kingdom of Actus. Being a new chapter in her life, Kotone is astounded by the size of the city. When she enters through the gates, there are shops and food stalls everywhere. In a big crowded metropolis, the young woman pulls out her map and sets off to explore the large city, passing by shops, taking a nap, and asking for directions from locals. The girl halts, pleased to realize that she's made it to her destination, that being RPG Real Estate. She is sure this is the place, but is worried hearing some things inside of the room. She grabs her courage and walks through the door. As she's about to speak, she sees a blue-haired short girl named Fa in her bikini, not wanting to put her coat on, and the slightly taller, blonde-haired girl, Euphoria, trying to force her to work. The 18-year-old receptionist, Ricaria, comes to greet the girl. Ricaria informs her associates that they have a customer. Kotone takes a good look at Ricaria, with the young lady thinking there's something on her face. But Kotone admits that she finds her rather pretty. This makes the modest Ricaria blush, and assumes she's trying to sell her something. Fa still doesn't want to put on her coat, hating clothes, stripping the charming Euphoria, making all of them blush. But this ends all their shenanigans. When they get down to business, Kotone shows her the type of apartment she wants to rent out. Kotone would like to keep the rent under 300 Gs, which is close to $300. Euphoria hears this and calls her a country girl with no common sense. Euphoria finds it best to give the girl a sense of reality, so she calls for them to visit some places. Ricaria doesn't think this is a good idea. Kotone paints a picture of her ideal living space, wanting to live a life with a cup of tea and a sunlit room, surrounded by her favorite flowers. Euphoria tells her to keep her expectations low, or she won't be able to survive the fall, scaring this girl. Euphoria is ready to go. Fa wants to also go, but Euphoria tells her that she always gets in the way of these deals, making Fa pout, on the verge of tears. Kotone sees this and tells the girl she wouldn't mind if she came along, making the dragon girl excited. Surprising Euphoria, the girls head out to the first location, with it being a treehouse 5 minutes away. An hour later, 3 girls are still walking up the tree, with the site still being an active dungeon with monsters appearing. Kotone is mad, with no one mentioning this part about the treehouse, while smacking some slime monsters. When they get to the apartment, being exhausted, Euphoria comments on how lovely it is inside, as well as the nice view, but Kotone yells at her about how it doesn't justify the trouble of living here, with a view that can lead to someone falling off the balcony, with Fa almost doing so, being the reason Euphoria didn't want to come here. Next is an old house, built by a witch. The girls have to cover their noses, however, from the messy and smelly room. The house has no windows, with something still boiling in the room. Euphoria comments on how this is a perfect living space for a wizard like herself. Kotone is on the verge of tears, stating that she would die in a dark place like this. The real estate woman calls her a high-maintenance customer. Next is the studio apartment that's in the middle of the city, being a very popular choice for youth. The girl finds it rather nice. Euphoria goes over the one rule, however, with the residents being required to keep the room unlocked for adventurers, and that anything kept in the drawers would be taken. Kotone questions the privacy in the building, finding all these locations terrible. Euphoria tells her that that's what she gets for having a budget of only 300 Gs. Fa sees her crying and takes her to her apartment spot next, being the Felicia Apartments. Kotone loves the view, with a really nice kitchen. With her asking if it's inside of her budget range, Euphoria tells her it is, but just then, a large red foot stomps through the hallway, scaring her. She explains this building is for non-human residents, so she wouldn't be able to communicate with anyone in the building. She looks at Fa, and she understands that the girl is able to communicate with them, starting a conversation with an interesting blue flame monster. Fa is special, with her being able to communicate with any race. Euphoria finds her useless with normal tasks, but having a skill like this is invaluable. Kotone decides she'll take this place, and bows in front of Fa, asking to be her friend. With her not knowing anyone in the capital, the young dragon girl cheers, excited to be her friend. Euphoria is shocked, seeing that it's been a year with Fa, and the girl would never listen to her. Kotone fills out her contract, with her accepting the apartment, but when she gets to the part about her employment, she puts the name of the real estate business, surprising the staff, with her just now remembering she needs to properly introduce herself. Starting this spring, she's going to be working here. Ricaria believed this was the case, seeing a form that said a new employee was arriving, this being right before they left. That night, Fa and Kotone enjoy their bath, allowing each other to watch their back. With the girl singing a song, Kotone is excited to begin her first day at work, asking Euphoria about what she can do. The woman advises her to unwind because there really is nothing to do right now, taking the air out of her body. Ricaria walks in with a hot pie, offering to serve some tea. As the girls eat, Euphoria mentions that yesterday was the 15th anniversary of the day that peace was achieved, mentioning that Ricaria would have been a hero if she had been born a little bit sooner. Kotone asks the girl how strong she is, with Ricaria being a warrior who's skilled with swords, spears, bows, and really any type of weapon, being able to cook any prey that she desires. Euphoria continues talking about her past, with girls mistaking her for a boy, with a lot of girls making love confessions to her. Ricaria pouts, reminding her that she doesn't get mistaken for a boy anymore. Euphoria pats her on the head as the girl is embarrassed. Ricaria is mad. She can't find anything to counter to Euphoria with. The two girls are childhood friends, with Euphoria saying that she's a hardworking, serious girl, so there's nothing that she can say about her. But Ricaria mentions how she still sleeps with a stuffed animal. Kotone goes next, with mentioning that she's a wizard, with them being very confused, assuming that she'd be an adventurer. She admits that that was the case, but she didn't feel like she could live as a freelance adventurer with such little pay, so she played it safe and decided to work for a business. Euphoria goes next, explaining that her dream was to become a royal priest so she can give political advice to the king, but things didn't work out as she planned, so she's here working. Kotone turns to Fa, asking how did she end up here, with them telling her that Lady Satone found her in the forest and brought her here, with Satana being their boss. Satana wanted Fa to be their mascot of sorts, but Euphoria assumes that Fa was just too much trouble for the priest and simply dumped her on them. Fa naively celebrates being a troublemaker, and Kotone tells her that's not really something to be proud of. Fa states that she can be useful, with Euphoria reminding her that she can't close any deals. As she says this, Fa breathes fire on her, saying that she can cook anything. Euphoria has to be held back. Ricaria decides it's time to go clean out the monsters that like to play pranks in vacant houses, changing into her adventurous costume. Kotone loves her outfit, but asks if it's too revealing, with it having little armor. Ricaria comments that a warrior shows her agility, but secretly, Ricaria is an exhibitionist. As they're talking, the phone rings. Euphoria tells the girl to answer the phone, wanting to ease her slowly into working and get her accustomed to how they do things. On the phone, the girl talks to Luna Didrain, who's inquiring to see a property. Euphoria is shocked because that woman is a great sage in the hero's party. Euphoria is desperate to win the woman over so that she can use her as a conduit to meet the king and other influential people in the nation, happy to have a way out of this dull job, with Ricaria pouting that she was really enjoying working with her. Ricaria goes out adventuring. When she leaves, the great sage Luna Didrain walks in early. Kotone greets her normally. Euphoria is over the top with her greeting, with the woman being exasperated by her title. Luna takes notice of Fa. Euphoria takes the lady out to a number of mansions and high society residents, but none of them suit her. Euphoria goes out of her way to mention as many nice places in the city as she can. When Luna wants to call it a day, Kotone makes a suggestion for a countryside house, with Euphoria doubting the sage will want to lower herself to live there, but the sage doesn't hesitate to buy the property once she sees it, with an array of flowers, with the woman explaining that she's been offered a number of all types of manners of extravagant lifestyles after they won the battle against the Demon Lord, but she felt like none of them actually suited her. Euphoria admits that Kotone helped her today. That night, Euphoria goes to Ricaria's room to have the girl comfort her after a hard day's work, even if it didn't turn out her way. The next day, Kotone is getting ready to go on her first business trip with Fa. The ladies are on their way to meet up with Lady Satana in the Dark Realm. Euphoria is nervous meeting her because she's the royal priest that she admires the most. Kotone tells her that she should just act like herself. At the Dark Lord's castle, Euphoria instructs Kotone that since it's her first time meeting the Great Sage, she needs to properly introduce herself, with first impressions being very critical. Lady Satana greets them, already being behind them. Satana pats Fa, asking how she's been doing, hoping that she isn't causing too much trouble, with Euphoria acting very differently, saying that she's not at all, with Fa repeating how mad she gets at her. Euphoria is quick to cover her mouth, not wanting to embarrass herself in front of the sage. Satana thinks that Euphoria has matured a lot, with her also greeting Kotone, calling her very petite and cute, which Kotone doesn't find to be much of a compliment. While they're walking, Kotone comments how the air feels very violent, feeling that they could be attacked at any moment. Just then, two large creatures approach them, scaring the girls. Fa greets them, telling the girls that they're only saying hello. Satana explains they're non-human employees of the venue. After the battle, the Demon Castle was repurposed as a theme park. Satana plans to have the girls sell some properties here, right near the theme park, taking them to the first location, that being inside of a cave. When they asked if there's something inside, she mentions again that this is a property, with this worrying Rufuria. Inside is a desk, table, and the walls are full with holes. Fa checks the holes, with there being nothing inside of them. Rufuria gauges the size of the holes, and assumes that it's too small for a person to squeeze through. Satana wonders why this cave is full of holes, thinking people must have slammed into the wall, having gotten to a brawl. Kotone thinks that she's cute, but thinks that she has a violent imagination. The next property is inside a well. Satana thinks the humidity is great, but Fa and Rufuria find it freezing since the floors are always wet. The next place has charred spots. Satana tells them not to worry since no one died in this room. The girls are slightly frightened since that wasn't a detail they didn't even mention. On a flying blimp, the girls are going home. Rufuria expresses to Kotone that she wants to impress Satana, but knows their customers will get mad at them if they offer this property. At the front desk, Rikira is handling the complaints, with her feeling very overworked. That night, the girls are having tea, when suddenly Mouse children burst into the room. The mother chases after them. Feeling very tired, having had raised 30 babies, the children gravitate towards Kotone, and while they play, Fa and the mother discuss her problems, with the family considering moving, seeing that the city isn't fit for non-human residents just yet. Just then, one of the children starts to dig the wood post. The mother runs to stop her, telling her she can't dig here. A light bulb goes off into her head, with them selling the cave property to the family. Soon they use Fa to look for other clients who are having trouble with the human properties, with the group able to sell all the properties that Satana requested of her. Back at Dali Castle, Satana sees that her judgment was right about Fa, with her being able to bridge any culture. And this is where we're gonna leave off in today's video. If you like this video, here's another one just like it, so go check it out. I'll be breaking down this anime into multiple parts. Now if you like the video, why not subscribe? I'll be uploading daily videos just like this one, so I'll see you next time.